Old people, once seen primarily naked in locker rooms, have taken over our government. The average age of the Senate was 53 in 1980, and it has steadily risen to over 64 years old today, and that trend is the same for the House. Is this because bingo and pickleball skills are vital for electability, or is this because boomers have hoarded all the wealth in this nation? We may never know. But there is one thing we can do about it: elect more young people. So that's why I've assembled a list of Gen Z candidates running for office. Now, you may ask, why not millennials?
Elder millennial. Elder millennial.
Well, first, you cringe. Second, I have a running theory about the difference between Gen Z and millennials. Millennials grew up in the late 80s to 90s and were promised such a grand economy. However, as they graduated into the 2000s with their overpriced degrees, that economy was snatched away from them, making them the angry, bitter people we see today. Whereas Gen Z, we already knew the economy was shit. We grew up in this chaotic world expecting nothing less, and we can see it in the rising trends amongst Gen Z. We're going to the gym more, we're swapping alcohol for weed, we're foregoing colleges for trades, and we're living with our parents. We have adapted to this Reaganized economy the boomers have left us with, and I think we have a lot to offer as politicians. And looking at this next generation, Gen Alpha, or as I like to say, Gen iPad kid, Gen Z may very well be the last generation capable of reading a book and forming a cohesive, nuanced thought. Before we get into it today, I looked up who the youngest House of Representatives was elected in this century. That was Madison Cawthorn, elected to North Carolina's 11th Congressional District in 2021. Sadly, he was accused of sexual assault by multiple women. Now, being a Republican, that isn't what ruined his chances at being reelected. What costed him re-election was a video coming out in which he nakedly thrust his genitals towards another man while moaning. But it's 2026, Madison. I think you can run it back as a Republican. Scott Bessent and Peter Thiel are out here proving that you can be gay and have no morals.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
So let's get into the candidates. To start, I have a Gen Z candidate running for re-election. Yes, re-election. Maxwell Alejandro Frost, a musician and activist turned politician, is running for re-election in Florida's 10th Congressional District, his hometown of Orlando. Frost has focused in on a whole host of issues, from housing affordability to abortion rights to gun reform to LGBTQ issues and many more. If there's something that we can all agree on, I think it's that we want Congress to be doing something right now. And Frost was very active in his time in D.C. He co-sponsored a whole host of bills, from banning no-knock warrants to reducing waste in national parks. And not only did he co-sponsor a bunch of bills, he sponsored a bunch of bills of his own. Just look at this. Look at the list of bills he sponsored. I'm just editing this in post, but look at the bills. You can see that's one, that's not. I don't really know what I'm pointing to, but look, read it. That's a bill. That's something. Like Mamdani, he is active on the TikTok and socials, as the youths say. He's a very well-spoken man, and I can see why he got elected in the first place. I'm wishing Maxwell all the best in his re-election. Keeping it in Florida still, I have Elijah Manley running in Florida's 20th Congressional District. Elijah Manley, very sexy, masculine name right there. The incumbent for Florida's 20th District is Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. And one quick Google search and you can see that she's under investigation for attempting to steal $5 million of COVID relief funds. Millennials, am I right? And you can also see that she's had a hard time keeping a lawyer, which is always a really good sign that you're innocent. Manley was raised in Fort Lauderdale by a single mother. Despite living in chronic homelessness with food insecurity, Manley worked his way out of poverty. He even started a landscaping business to help his mother pay the bills. Today, he's a teacher and very active in the community. A self-described democratic socialist, Manley's policies include a $20 minimum wage, health care for all, and funding public schools. He was recently sued for defamation by Sheila, but that case was quickly thrown out by the courts. Another really good sign that she's in fact completely innocent.
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
fuck it. Let's throw out a Gen Z Republican next. Joe Mitchell is running for Iowa's 2nd congressional district, which you can see is right here. I didn't even know people lived there. I still don't believe it, actually. Joe Mitchell was the youngest state legislator in Iowa history. He also started a nonprofit called Run Gen Z to get young conservatives to run in state and federal elections across the country. Joe Mitchell's policy stances include fiscal responsibility, lowering taxes, and promoting economic growth. Fiscal responsibility is probably a very important issue right now because if you look at the debt, oh my God, we're fucked. I mean, look at the U.S. is looking like a guest on Caleb Hammer right now. Our current president is set to add close to $17 trillion to the debt when he's done with his presidency. So it's really important that we elect fiscally responsible people like Joe Mitchell. Yeah, he is. He's MAGA. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Between you and me, Joe, drop the MAGA stuff. Trump's gonna be very unpopular in his second term. Most second-term presidents are. And there are fiscally responsible conservatives out there opposing Donald Trump. Just look at Rand Paul. He has the balls to call out Donald Trump on his spending. How about you grow a pair, Joe?
I don't know. I would.
Moving on, I have a progressive to cleanse your palate after Joe Mitchell. Kat Abughazaleh, hope I got that right, is running for Illinois' 9th congressional district. Positioned as a 26-year-old political outsider, her policies include anti-authoritarianism and gun control. Wait, is that right? Seems a little contradictory if you ask me. Liberals, am I right? She's a former journalist and union representative. She highlights her identity as a renter who's gone a year without health insurance. Her platform is built on a radically transparent grassroots model, not taking in any money from billionaires or super PACs. And that includes AI PAC. And if there's one thing I've noticed from scrolling TikTok and Reels, it's that us Gen Zers don't really like the idea of Israel bribing our politicians. Lobbying our politicians. I got that right. There we go. The cornerstone of her candidacy is built around protecting democracy and opposing anti-authoritarianism. Quote-unquote resistance libs like Kat have had a hard time in elections, but I think that's going to change when you look at Donald Trump's recent actions involving ICE and foreign policy. Notably, Kat was arrested by ICE just recently, making me 2 for 2 on politicians in my videos getting arrested by ICE. Now, does that highlight the growing authoritarianism in this country? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. I would.
Now, lastly, I got a real treat for y'all. Running for governor of Vermont is Dean Roy at the age of 14 years old. Yes, 14 years old. Vermont does not have an age limit to run for governor, so he could legally be elected governor of Vermont. As a student of Stowe Middle School, he's campaigning under the Freedom and Unity Party. His candidacy is centered around a fresh perspective, focusing on Vermont's affordability crisis. Roy's platform includes lowering taxes on the middle class and small businesses, while raising taxes on large corporations and short-term rentals. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me. He also supports consolidating Vermont's school system, which has over 100+ districts, to just 5 in order to save millions in administration costs. Another pretty good idea to me. He also supports LGBTQ rights and strengthening America's relationship with Canada and the EU. Another good idea, in my opinion. Vermont, please make this happen. Please, come on. Dude, this guy, I don't care that he's 14. His policies sound good enough. Vote Dean Roy. He has my vote. Before I go, I've linked every single candidate's campaign website down below where you can donate money to them. I also linked down below organizations helping Gen Z candidates. If you're progressive, you can donate money to the Run for Something campaign. If you're conservative, I linked Run Gen Z, the organization that Joe Mitchell started. If you're like me and want just any young person to run for office, you can donate to the Future Caucus organization that's nonpartisan. Thank you for watching, and please comment down below any other Gen Z candidates. I would love to make a part 2 of this video. Bye.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I